I was the first responder to the crater in Utah. No radio signal, no heat signature, just a long black scar in the desert, where something huge had torn the earth open and slept inside it. And when I got close, I found the wreckage, not of a plane or a satellite, but of something smooth and white, and humming faintly, like a song from a place no one on earth had ever heard. And inside it was her, curled like a child, skin pale like moonlight, and eyes the color of stars I had only seen through telescopes. And when she looked at me, my heart forgot it, had never known her, and I carried her out of that crater like I was meant to. The doctors said she should not be alive, her bones too light, her pulse too slow, and her voice too strange to register as human. And yet she lived, and she healed, and she watched the world with a calmness that made me nervous and peaceful all at once. And one night, while I sat beside her bed, she reached out with her hand, glowing softly, and spoke not in words, but in pictures, in feelings, in waves of color that flooded my mind, and I understood her without needing grammar or syntax. Because what she said was simple. She was alone, she was far from home, and she was not afraid of me, and I told her the same. And that was the first time I felt something like love. No church would hold us, no government would recognize her, no pastor would bless a union with someone they could not classify. So I married her. Under the stars, on the salt flats, where her ship had burned its message into the dirt, and she wore a dress of cloth. She wove herself from Earth's wildflowers, and my suit was the same uniform I wore the night I found her. And we spoke our vows in silence, in thought, in shared memory and touch, because she could not say my name with her mouth, and I could not pronounce hers with my tongue, but our hearts heard each other just fine. And when I kissed her, her skin shimmered with joy, and for the first time I knew what sacred meant. She does not sleep the way I do. She folds herself into a spiral and floats just above the bed, and I never get used to waking up and seeing her there, glowing softly like a constellation. In our tiny house in rural Nevada, where the neighbors don't ask too many questions and the desert sings the same old lullabies. She says her kind lived in cities that hung over gas giants, and her sisters walked on fire for fun, but she prefers the dust and the cactus and the silence of our porch at dawn. And I build her a garden from scratch, even though she says plants talk too much. And she builds me a wind sculpture that hums when she's happy. And when we fight, we do not shout, we go quiet and our shadows don't touch. But we always find our way back like the tide does to the moon. They came for her, 3 long shadows in a ship that bent light as it landed, and the sound it made was not heard, but felt like teeth vibrating in bone. And I stood between them and her, holding nothing but a rake, because I knew I would not win. But I would not run. And she stepped beside me, her eyes full of old pain, and she said things to them in pulses of light that cracked the sky open. And when they answered, she trembled, not in fear, but in choice. And they waited, and I waited, and the desert held its breath. And finally she took my hand, and they bowed and vanished, because whatever war she once fled, she no longer feared. And whatever they were to her, they were not worth losing me. Some nights she dances with the stars, fingers raised to the sky, hair streaming like solar wind, and I watch her, knowing this world is not her birthright, but her choice. And she laughs when I burn the toast, and sings songs in a language no one else knows. And I teach her how to fish, and she teaches me how to listen without ears. And we build a life not made of matching DNA or shared heritage, but of firewood and constellations and morning coffee. And when people ask me what she is, I say, she is my beginning and my end. And when they ask me where she came from, point to the sky. And when they ask why she stays, I say, because we are more than species, more than stars, more than the sum of where we were born. We are us, and that is enough. Years pass and the stars do not change, but we do. She grows slower than me. Her people do not age like ours. And though my hair grays and my hands tremble, she still moves like water lit by moonlight, still hums songs that shape the wind around our home. And I do not fear dying, not really, because I know she will remember me in ways no tombstone ever could. She says memory to her kind is more than vision. It is feeling, it is truth, it is touch, stored like starlight in the bones. And when my time comes, when my breath shortens and the sun feels farther than ever, she holds me and folds me in her glow, and I feel warm, and I feel whole, and I feel like maybe I am leaving not the world, but only the part that forgets. And when I open my eyes again, I do not see walls or sky. I see her face, and I realize I am not gone. I am with her still, not in flesh, maybe not in time, but in the way she sings, softer now, and in the way our garden grows wild, and in the way the wind sculpture always hums like a heartbeat. And she walks the desert still, but not alone, never alone, not ever again, because she is not from Earth, but she is my wife, and even stars do not outlast love like that. There is a garden that grows where no map reaches, not in any system or orbit, just a quiet place between stars, where light curves inward and time forgets how to walk. And there she waits, not mourning, not weeping, but tending each stem, each vine, each bloom, because each one carries a piece of me, a laugh, a word, a memory. We built across decades of mornings and quiet dinners and wild dreams. And sometimes travelers find her by accident, lost ships and broken probes, and they speak of a woman made of starlight, with eyes like dawn, who offers them food and shelter and a name they never forget. And when they ask who she is, she smiles and touches her chest and says, I was once a queen of flame, daughter of black holes, a voice in the great silence, but now am a gardener and a wife. And they do not understand why she says it with such pride, but they remember how the flowers glow when she speaks of me, and how the stars seem to lean closer to listen, and I am there too, not as breath, not as voice, but as part of the soil, as warmth in her hands, as rhythm in the wind. And so we remain, not bound by flesh or gravity, but by something older than even her kind dares name. And though Earth spins on and galaxies drift, I am hers and she is mine, and the garden will never stop growing.